Okay, so good morning all. So this is our module 6, and till now we have discussed, we have seen the design of furrow irrigation system and design of border irrigation system. In this class, we'll be looking at the design of basin irrigation system. Okay, so before that, let's see when to use basin irrigation system. So basin irrigation system is actually very simple irrigation, very simple technique in which, or which is the most common form of surface irrigation system, which is particularly suitable in the regions with the with a small size of the field. Okay, so here what we do, we construct the dikes. So these are the dikes actually that are constructed. We are actually, what we are doing, once we apply the water, we want that water to get remain into that region, into that basin, and it should infiltrate vertically downward. Okay, so the size of the basin can be shape of the basin can be the square, or it can be means it can be any, but the main thing is actually we are having the confined boundary here. That is actually an important aspect of basin irrigation system. So basically suitable for paddy crop or pastures, or the grass covers, or sometimes it is suitable for horticultural crop as well. Okay, but it is not suitable for the crops which cannot have which are not tolerant to the prolonged ponding of water. So in that case, it's not suitable. Now, how to supply? So supply method can be, again, it's actually customized. So you can see in the figure, in the first figure, it is actually, you can, this is a the channel that is running, the flow that is being diverted from canal, and this is your main channel, and from here actually you are diverting the flow into the these basins. So this is one basin, then this is one basin, and then one basin. So basin A will get first will apply water to the basin A, then basin B, basin C, like that. Or it can be, if the terrain is in that way, so sloping terrain. So in that case, first this will be applied, then this will be released, like that. Okay, so this is your direct methods, in which directly we are applying the water into entire basin, and this is the cascade method, in which actually once we apply into the upper basin, then middle basin, lower basin, and so on. Okay, so this cascade method is actually is a very good method. It basically it can be used for paddy crop, or the soils where the percolation and seepage losses are comparatively low. Now let's see the wetting pattern of basin irrigation system. So this may be this kind of diagram we have seen before, but let's see this in the context of basin irrigation system. So this is the field channel, and through the siphoning we are actually adding water into this thing. It can be added by any mean. Okay, we can have some gate here, and we can allow water to enter into the basin. So this is your surface. So this is your soil surface, and here uh, and this is your root zone. So whatever crop that will grow, the root, this is your root zone. So our objective is to provide irrigation to this much root zone, this much infiltrated. So this is your required infiltrated depth. So this is so for good crop growth, it is very important that the right quantity of water has to be supplied to the roots, and the root zone should be wetted uniformly. So it is in this entire area that we are talking about of one basin, the uniform depth has to be achieved. Means at least this much depth has to be achieved, and we have to design our system based on this requirement, this Z requirement. Okay, so this excess thing is actually your deep percolation loss. So this is actually your deep percolation loss. It has to be minimized. Okay, so this is your ideal wetting pattern. Now we have the another. This is a different example in which actually which is not an ideal wetting pattern. So let's say we have provided the water into this basin. So this is your basin. I'm loosely drawing the border, and this is the bunds and bunds or heights to stop the water and to confine the water within this region. And let's say if our designing is not sufficient, then we are getting this kind of infiltration profile. So you can clearly see that this is the exactly your root zone. This infiltrated depth should be this one. But in this case, because of the poor designing, or we can say the infiltration is not sufficiently done to the required depth, so we can see this much area is actually, this much depth is left unnoticed. So it means this is actually a deficient irrigation. So this infiltration profile is not sufficient. So in that case, we have to improve, we have to redesign the system. Whereas in this case, you can see this root zone depth is actually uniformly weighted, not only at the inlet, not only at length is equal to 0, but at
Yes,
length
sir.
is equal to L as well.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, are you
Sir,
not
your
able
pointer is not visible.
not visible, sir?
Oh, okay, it's not visible. Okay, just give me a minute. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can see this is ideal wetting pattern in which yeah. So here you can see not only at length L is equal to 0. So this is your ideal wetting pattern in which, let's say, this depth is uniformly achieved over entire length. So this is your entire length of the basin from length L is equal to 0 to length L is equal to L, X is equal to L. Only this much amount of loss is we are actually getting here. Okay. Whereas in this case, so this is your ideal wetting pattern. So this is an example of insufficient wetting pattern in which we wanted to have this much amount of depth because the root zone are actually for whatever crop we are planting here, root zone is actually, it should be this much, but our infiltration profile looks like this actually. So what it means that this much region is actually, this is your deficient case of deficient irrigation. So this is region which has not received any water so far. Okay, so this is a dry region and this is a wet region. So this irrigation, what it tells you that the irrigation is not sufficient in this case. Okay. Okay. Now one important aspect of basin irrigation is that since we are providing the water here and we want to confine the whatever water that we have applied here to remain confined into this region. Okay, so whatever water we are providing, we want it to confine within this region, and so that because of that, in order to get that, we are providing some bunds here. So water, once it is provided here, it should be confined here, and it should be allowed to infiltrate vertically downward. Okay, so it is more important in this case, the surface of the basin must be level. Okay, so the surface of the irrigation system has to be leveled, and irrigation water uh, has to be applied quickly with a correct stream size. Okay, so that is the requirement. Now, yeah, so in the previous slide we have seen some cases of one case of insufficient wetting pattern. Let's see a few more cases where the required infiltration depth is not achieved or the wetting pattern is not appropriate. So this poor wetting pattern means this wetting pattern subsurface profile is not correct in those cases. So this is your like unfavorable natural condition. It can be because of the poor wetting pattern that we can see in this case is basically can be because of the unfavorable natural condition, can be because of the poor layout, or because of the poor cropping management that we are doing over our field. So let's see first case in which actually the the natural condition is not favorable to achieve a uniform wetting over entire field. Okay, so this is a kind of some purged layer is there, and because of that, so let's say purged layer means there is some kind of impervious surface is there. So this checks are denoting the impervious layer. So like irrespective of how you design, but because of the presence of this natural condition, this wetting pattern will not be it cannot be uniform over entire field. So that is because of the natural condition. So that is the first case. So that will result into the poor wetting pattern. So you can see the wetting profile is not uniform. So this results into the poor wetting pattern. Next, it can be poor layout. Okay, if our layout construction is not proper, suppose let's say this is your field and this is not leveled properly. Okay, so in that case as well, so some region may get very high infiltration, some region will get less infiltration. All this thing may take place. Okay, so this is actually remaining dry, this is getting excess infiltration. Okay, so in that case also, this is actually your wetting profile, which is again not desired. This is because of the poor layout. Next is because of the when the flow rate is not sufficient. Not sufficient means this Q naught that we are releasing from here, that is actually not sufficient. So so when this kind of profile, so this is your infiltration profile. So we have discussed this this flow rate insufficiency in case of border irrigation as well. So so whether the Q naught is high here or low here. Yes, in this case, let's say it's showing that the regions which is close to this input where x is equal to 0 is receiving very high amount of infiltration, whereas length L at the end, the infiltration is actually very small. So so it shows it's actually clear indication of when the flow rate is insufficient. So whether the infiltration rate is smaller here or higher here, sorry, the flow rate is higher.
It's smaller, sir.
Yeah, so it means water is actually slowly moving here, and so this region is getting more amount of time to get infiltration. So so we have to increase the flow rate in this case. Okay, so this is also results into the poor wetting pattern. Now this is under irrigation. So by like here, the amount of quantity of water that we have supplied in the form of Q naught into T. Q naught into T means I am talking about the volume. So which is not sufficient here, Q naught into time of cutoff. The total amount of volume that we have supplied here is equal to Q naught into time of cutoff. Okay, so this is not sufficient. So this volume that we are actually supplied into this basin is not sufficient. So in that case, we are getting this insufficient. So this is not is expected that this wetting profile should reach at least this depth. Okay, over entire field. Okay, but in this case it is not happening. So this much area is actually is dry here. So this is again result into this is again the example of poor wetting pattern. This is over irrigation. So this is again related with the wrong designing. So where you can see that there is a, so our design should only it should on our design is based on means our area of concern is this much. We are talking about this root zone, infiltration or availability of water into this root zone. But in this case, you can see equal amount of losses are also there. Okay, so this is again an example of over irrigation, and this is again a wrong infiltration profile. Okay. Now let's say some theory about the basin irrigation system. So what we are, as I said before, in this case, what we are doing actually, we are preventing this tailwater to escape from the field, and the field slope is actually basically is more or less flat. Okay, so we are retaining the water into this basin, and depending on the how we are applying direct method or cascade method. In cascade method, we are once this is achieved, we are releasing water into the next basin. And most important thing here is that recession and depletion. two different process, recession and depletions, are actually accomplished at the nearly same time and nearly uniform over entire basin. So recession happening here and recession happening here will occur at the same time. Similarly, depletion, rate of depletion here, rate of depletion here, rate of depletion here, it will be same. It will be uniform over entire basin. That is the most important characteristics of basin irrigation. Basic aspect of basin irrigation system. Now we talk about the driving force. So driving force that drives the flow means from this point, this end to this end. Driving force on the flow is basically hydraulic slope of the water surface. What is mean by hydraulic slope of the water surface? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So I am saying that the driving force of water, the flow that is happening from this end to this end, this is basically governed by the slope, hydraulic slope of water surface. So you are getting right what I'm saying. Okay. So the water surface. So when you are starting, when you are supplying the water, okay, okay. When you are supplying the water and it is moving like so, slope of this sorry. Okay, so the slope of this hydraulic surface is actually determining the flow which is advancing. Okay, so driving force on flow is solely hydraulic slope of the water surface. Hence, the uniformity of a field is critically important because so the water should reach exactly at the same time here, exactly at the same time over this entire length, entire width. This is length, this is width. This is your length, and this is your width. Okay, so if it is undulating topography, then it will not happen simultaneously. Okay, so so topography that is why it is very important in this case. It should be properly leveled. Yeah, so this is the example animation that shows the surface and subsurface profile of basin irrigation system. Okay, so you can see. So what is happening here? Let me start it again. Okay, so what is this? This is your surface profile, the waterfront which is traveling, advancing here, and this is your infiltration profile, infiltrated depth. Okay, so you see here. Now you can see suddenly there is a drop here. So what has happened here?
The depletion phase.
Yeah, depletion phase, but this is actually the cutoff. It's after the cutoff. So you can see still till water is advancing here, this is the slope of your water surface. So this is the hydraulic slope that is actually driving the force. So you can see the profile is, so there is a slope. Once it reaches here, you can see because of the bonding, we have the bunds here. So water will start ponding here, and you can see now it is nearly flat. Okay. So when this Z requirement is met, okay, our design should be such that we should have minimum deep percolation loss, and uniformly over entire field at least this Z requirement depth has to be maintained. That is our requirement. Okay, now another thing is actually the driving force is actually your hydraulic slope, and once we are cutting off, or once it is actually and like infiltration after this phase, you can see it is happening vertically downward. Okay, you can see now it is not moving, this flow is not moving, but it is moving only in the vertically downward direction. It's not moving in the horizontal direction, it is moving is depleting uniformly. So depletion phase at this point, this point, this point is happening. Depletion and recession phase is happening uniformly over entire basin. Let's see it again. So now water is advancing. This is your TL. Now it is start. This is storage phase begins. Okay, storage phase begins. Okay, now the cutoff, and now we can see it is depleting. So depletion phase is actually uniform over entire length, and also you can see the recession. So this is still depletion phase. Now recession. So recession is actually happening both depletion phase and recession phase. There is uniformity over entire field. So that is actually important aspect of basin irrigation system. Okay. Any questions so far? Hello.
Sir, please explain once again hydraulic slope.
What is mean by hydraulic slope? Hydraulic slope is slope of the water surface. Means, so you might have seen the energy diagram. Let me. So what is the bottom slope?
Sir, is it bed slope?
Yes, bed slope, channel slope. Okay, and after that, what we have?
Sir, friction?
Yes. Okay. So I think I have to explain that. I'm just opening one diagram here. So have you studied this open channel or open channel subject?
Sir, we are studying river basin.
Okay. I'm opening one image here so that I can explain from that. Yeah. So this is actually so this is a slopes in open channel flow. Okay, so you can see this is your input inflow. This is your x is equal to 0. Means we are talking about this length. So flow is happening in this direction. X is equal to 0 here and x is equal to L. You can also say that x1 and x2. Okay, so this is your channel. Okay, So this is a normal case of open channel flow. So this is your datum. So with respect to this datum, this is a elevation Z1. Here it is Z2. Here it is Y1 and Y2. So we are saying that the surface is more or less flat, and this is your hydraulic grade line. So what is hydraulic grade line? What is hydraulic slope? Slope of water surface. So it
Sir,
should be,
difference.
so whatever head which is available here and whatever head that is available here, right? That is your
Yes, sir.
slope of water surface, right? So now we are saying that our this level is mostly level. So Z1 is actually very much similar to Z2. So what is the driving? So you can see here the mainly the flow is happening because of the head difference. So here let's say head is H1. Okay, this is your H1 and this is your H2. Okay, so since H1 is greater than H2, there is, and because of that there is a flow happening. Now in this H1 we are saying that this Z1 and Z2 are more or less similar because our land is kind of flat. So what essentially is the driving force here?
Gravity force, sir.
No, gravitational force will come into the picture when there is a sharp difference in elevation from this end to this end. We are saying that,
The flow velocity.
so this is basically governed by this Y1 depth, right? So slope of this water surface is actually your driving force here. Okay. Okay. So and this is your total energy slope. This is your total energy slope, in which total slope, which is your Z1, Y1, and V1 square by 2. This is total energy line. Okay. So slope of channel bed, this is your S0, which is given by Z1 minus Z2, means essentially it is driven by the gravity. Slope of water surface, which is combination of Y1 and Z1, means this you can collectively call this term as a H1 and this term as a H2. So H1 minus H2 by delta X, that is your slope of water surface, and you have the slope of energy line, means total H1 including the velocity head, and this is your H2, capital H2. So from H1, so H1 is equal to H2 plus head loss. Okay, so you can see between this point, and this point, this is your head loss. So these are the general concept. So what we are talking about, that the flow which is happening here, which is basically governed by the slope of water surface. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So this figure is actually important, and you can see in case of open channel flow, or in case of steady uniform flow. In case of steady uniform flow, what will happen? So in the Manning's equation, we were taking one this thing, right? S0.
S equal to S0. Bed slope equals to channel slope.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, coming to this profile, this is surface profile and this is your subsurface profile. Okay. Now assumptions. Now let's see the assumptions in case of basin irrigation system design. So first assumption is actually during the advanced phase. Okay, so during this advanced phase, this is your advanced phase. So waterfront is advancing forward. to the length. So this is from this point to this point, it is advancing. Okay, so during advanced phase, the friction slope can be, we can approximate friction slope by depth of flow at the inlet divided by the distance x. Okay, so this SF, yeah, so this slope SF is equal to y naught divided by x. So that will give you the slope of this profile. Okay, so we have already seen in case of border irrigation this kind of equation. So y naught into 1 is given by, so this is a kind of area, y naught into 1, this kind of expression we have seen. So we can write the same expression in this form. So y naught is equal to q naught square n square x by 3600. This 3600 is a constant to convert the unit into second to hour, that kind of conversion. So don't bother about this one, but this is basically coming from q is equal to av, where v is given by Manning's formula. Okay, y naught is actually depth at the inlet, q naught is actually the discharge at the inlet at length 0, that is q naught. That is first assumption. Second assumption, that immediately upon the cessation of the inflow, the water surface assumes the horizontal orientation and infiltrates vertically. Okay, so immediately after cessation of inflow, means after the cutoff, water surface assume horizontal orientation and infiltrate vertically. So this is what we have seen. So right now it is, you can see it is not, so you can see now it is becoming more or less flat over entire region. Now here you can see now time of cutoff. After time of cutoff, after cessation of inflow, the water is allowed to flow vertically downward. So you can see clearly. So depletion is happening uniformly over entire field, and recession also achieved more or less uniformly over entire field. So that is our second assumption. Third assumption is actually the irrigation depth that has to be applied at the downstream end of the basin is equal to required depth of the water at the root zone. Okay, so this is our important aspect, because is whatever the depth of root zone is having, means at least this depth of root zone should be uniformly wetted. So over this entire length of this field, okay, so this Z requirement has to be achieved. So the irrigation depth that we are applying not only here but also here, at least here, because once we achieved the Z requirement here, it means we have achieved the Z requirement or entire length. Okay, so the irrigation depth that to be applied at the downstream end of the basin should be equal to the required depth of water at the root zone. So this is your required depth. So if you are ensuring that Z requirement is achieved over the downstream, it indicates that at all the points, all the preceding point, at least that much depth has been achieved. That is our third assumption. Fourth assumption, yes.
Sir, in the second assumption, you written water surface assumed to be horizontal orientation. Sir, horizontal orientation means what?
So this is what you see, right? So right now there is no cutoff. Okay, so you can see when there is no cutoff, it is not horizontal. Okay, now I'm just telling you. So now you see there is a cutoff. Sorry, now there is a cutoff. So you can see the water surface is horizontal now. Okay, the orientation is horizontal and it is depleting uniformly over entire length. So this is what vertical downward motion is happening. That is what is meant by that. Is it clear?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, will there be any recession phase here?
When there is a when that point has no longer the ponding.
Sir, the whole field at the same time. I don't know when will be recession phase.
That is a recession. Means that is actually one value. Means that is what I'm saying, that depletion is happening. Depletion is happening at the same time. Means the time to deplete here, time to deplete here, time to deplete here, time to deplete here is same over entire field, because we are allowing a flat surface to infiltrate vertically in downward direction. So at the same time we are trying to achieve that recession should achieve. So this is our theoretical assumption. Okay. Now, type of cutoff is some important parameter. So we are familiar with this equation. This we have seen in case of surface irrigation. So where this is the amount Q naught that we have supplied as an input for T duration of time. So this is the volume we are talking about at the inlet ends. Okay. So Q naught into T, that is a volume that we have supplied into this basin, or in case of any irrigation, surface irrigation. So that flow, we can see it, we can divide into two parts. One that is required to pond the water above the soil surface, and one we are allowing to infiltrate into vertical direction. So we have this shape here. So we have this shape. So this is your volume. This is one volume. Whatever volume we have applied as Q naught for T duration of time, this is your volume. Okay, so it is split into two parts. One is one will be stored above the surface, and one will be allowed to infiltrate. So this is your infiltration. So this is what this equation talks about. So Q naught T, this volume, is equal to A naught X. So let's say this is your A naught times X. A naught times X. Okay, A naught times X, and this sigma Y. So this sigma Y is actually defining the shape. It is not rectangular. Okay, if had it been rectangular, in that case sigma Y would have been 1, but we know it's not rectangular. The shape will be like this. So that's why this is shape factor sigma Y. Similarly, infiltration profile is also not vertical exactly. It is not exactly like this. So this is in reality it is like this. So Z naught into X multiplied by this shape factor sigma Z. So this is your profile. So what we are saying, that the input is actually splitted into two parts, one for surface and one for infiltration. Okay, this is what this equation is talking about. Now, time of cutoff. Our time of cutoff in practically, if you want to conserve the water, should be what? Time of cutoff means if you are starting from here. Okay, if you are starting from here, so time of cutoff should be what? Time for waterfront to reach from this point to this point. What is that time?
The time of advance.
Time of advance. So time of advance plus time for this entire depth, entire field length from 0 to L to achieve at least Z requirement depth. Right? So that is your tau requirement. Means time that is required for entire field to get this Z, at least this Z requirement. So time of cutoff should be planned such way. Or in a simple way, we can say that when should we cut off the when should we cut off the irrigation? We should only stop the irrigation when we ensure that at least for this entire length of the field water has reached. That is your time of advance, and for this entire field we have achieved this much depth Z requirement. So that is achieved at this tau requirement. So time of cutoff is equal to TL plus tau requirement. Okay. Okay, so using same concept, we can write this equation in this way. Okay, so this is your time of cutoff is equal to time of advance plus tau requirement, means time of infiltration opportunity time. Okay, infiltration opportunity time for this required depth Z requirement. Infiltration opportunity time to get Z is equal to Z requirement. That is why we are calling this as tau requirement. Okay, now how to write Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry, there was some disturbance here. Okay. So here, so what we are saying that, so we are saying that this is your tau requirement, time of advance plus this one. Okay. So this is yeah. So so how to write this tau requirement? So tau requirement means we are talking about the infiltration time for this water to get at, for entire field we should get this Z requirement depth. Okay, this is your tau requirement. So how to write that? So we can write it like this. So this is a depth we want to achieve, infiltration depth we want to achieve for this entire length L. Okay. Okay. So from this we have to subtract this one. So we are just talking about this one. Okay. So from this we have to subtract this water storage. So sigma y into y naught means this is your y naught into L. This whole divided by this q naught. So this is essentially the equation which is similar to means T is equal to your volume divided by Q. Okay. So we are just talking about this volume. So we are not talking about this volume. We are not talking about the surface storage. We are just talking about the infiltration time. That is why we are just considering this volume Z naught requirement. This Z naught into L. We can say per unit width into 1 divided by the quantity of input that we have supplied Q naught. Okay, so that will give you the tau requirement. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is it clear? Okay.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
yeah. So our objective is to achieve the application. Once we have designed all the parameters, the application efficiency has to be maximized. That is our objective. So these are the various parameters that are common in case of surface irrigation system, like infiltration parameters, for example, A, K, F naught, basic infiltration rate, and these are the parameters related to the Kostyko equation. Field length is L, field width is WF, field slope is S naught, Manning's roughness coefficient is N, the shape coefficient is ρ1 and ρ2, required depth of irrigation Z requirement, soil erosive velocity Vmax. Our velocity should be below this Vmax. Water supply rate is Q. Duration of water supply is T. Time, for this much amount of time we have the supply. Okay, so what are the steps involved? So collect the information related to field characteristics. First should be because our design will be based on that only. So first step is actually to collect the data related to our field, what kind of crop we'll take and how much amount of water supply we have. Okay, then next to that, then determine the maximum allowable non-erosive velocity, non-erosive flow rate, that Qmax. Our discharge should not go beyond that limit. So this is a kind of empirical equation which is again derived from the formula that we have seen before in case of border. So Qmax is equal to Vmax n square L by 7200. So here 7200 is coming because we are saying that like this SF is equal to Y naught into X, and means we are relating with the S naught, and here X we are taking as the average length. The average length we are taking, for example, it's L by 2. So that is why this thing is coming here. So y0 by x, it will go here. So 2 will come here, something like that. Okay, so Qmax is given by these expressions. Our flow should be below this Qmax. Select unit flow rate Q0, which should be near to the Qmax in such a way that the number of sets of basin we should get it in the form of integer number. Okay, so this is the expression that we have seen. This is actually coming from this one. Okay, so compute the inflow depth y0 at the inlet by substituting x is equal to L by 2. Okay, so y0 is given by, so we know this equation. So substitute x is equal to L by 2 here, average length. Okay, so here L by 2, you will get this expression. Now this should be the depth. Okay, this should be the depth here, and this depth should be in such a way that there should not be overflow, because our purpose is actually to contain the storage into this limit. Okay, if the y0 is exceeding the height of this bund, then there will be overflow. So we don't want that. So that's why the y0 that we are getting should be less than the ridge height. Okay, now remaining thing is same. Well, first we have to get the combination of B or R, and for that B or R, we have to calculate time of advance and for length L, and time of advance for length L by 2. Same way. Okay, so first compute the time of advance. So the process is similar. So we have to assume some value of B, let's say 0.5, and for this 0.5 we have to calculate sigma z, which was given by that big expression, sigma z dash, which is again given by 1 upon 1 plus B, I guess. And this is a function of sigma z is function of A and B, that expression AB plus something like that. Okay, so using this B, calculate sigma z and sigma dash, and then use this expression to calculate TL by 2 and TL. The same approach we have to use here using the Newton-Raphson technique. Okay, so this is the expression. So we have assumed this one. Based on this one, we have got sigma z and sigma z dash, and we are substituting it here in order to get the new value of TL by 2 for I plus 1 step. Okay, and same is and we have to see whether our guessed value, this is your initial guess and this is your what you are get based on the initial guess. If there is not much difference between this value and this value, so it means our initial guess is correct for the selected B. Okay, if that is fine, okay, go to TL. The same steps. So initial guess of TL. Okay, substitute it here, calculate TL plus 1, TL for iteration I plus 1. If there is not much difference between this and this initial guess, we can stop there. Otherwise, if it is not done, then we have to use this as an initial guess again and redo this calculation. Okay, now once that is done, again we will calculate the B using this expression. Remember, we have choose B is equal to 0.5 or 0.4, whatever it is, as initial guess, and for that actually we have calculated TL and TL by 2. Okay, now if this initial guess of 0.4 is correct, and for that matter our calculated value TL and TL by 2, then whatever the B that we are getting here, it should also be close to 0.4. If it is not, then this value we have to substitute here and redo this entire calculation. Okay, let's say in this step we have got B is equal to 0.6. Okay, so now you have to substitute 0.6, and based on 0.6 you have to calculate TL and TL by 2. Now based on this TL and TL by 2, if in the new iteration if you are again getting B is equal to 0.6, then it means our initial guess of B is equal to 0.6 is actually correct. So if the initial guess B is equal to 0.6 is correct, and the calculated, and so is the value of time of advance for length L and time of advance for length L by 2. The same approach that we have followed in for irrigation, border irrigation system, same approach we have to follow here. Okay, now after that, we have to calculate the time of cutoff. So time of cutoff, again, we have seen this expression, time of advance plus this is tau requirement. Okay. Now, once that is there, now again we have to calculate the computational efficiency. Computational efficiency we can calculate like divided by your Q naught into time of cutoff. So this kind of expression we have seen before. So using that we can calculate the application efficiency. Okay. Now, whichever combination is giving the highest application efficiency, that combination we have to select. Okay. Now let's see one example. In this example, what is given to us? We have a field whose length is 150, 0 to L. L is equal to 150. Width, which is given to us, is 300 meter. So it should be like this. So this is your 150. This is your 300 meter. Okay. The Manning value of Manning's roughness coefficient, which is again based on the field condition, n is equal to 0.04. The soil that we have in that region is loam, and the irrigation requirement is 10 centimeter. Okay, so Z requirement value is given. Z requirement is at least over entire length from L is equal to 0 to L is equal to L. This much depth has to be maintained, infiltration depth. So I'm talking about depth of infiltration here, 10 centimeter. Infiltration function parameter, because we'll be using the, in order to calculate the various parameters, we have to use this infiltration parameter. K is equal to 0.0028, A is equal to 0.45545, F naught is equal to 0.0012. If this is not given, then we have to use this modified Kostyakov equation to calculate that. AK plus so on. Okay. Then available supply rate, which is given. So this is the supply which is available to us, 10 meter cube per minute. We cannot design randomly for any value of Q. Okay, so this is a Q which is given to us. And supply duration. So this much supply which is available to us with this much rate for 12 hours. We have only 12 hours. So within 12 hours, our entire field should get irrigated. That is our requirement. So this is our constraint, and based on this constraint, we have to design. Okay, so soil is loam. So our field is such that where the soil is loam, length of the field is 150 meter, field width is around 300 meter. Our soil conditions are such a way that N can be taken as 0.04. Design irrigation requirement means Z requirement for that particular crop that we are planning, which is around 10 centimeter. The infiltration parameter Ka and F naught is given. If it is not given, then we can calculate available supply rate Q naught, and this is the available resources which is available to us. Means we have the Q is equal to 10 meter cube per minute. Supply duration D is equal to 12 hours. Okay. Now, first step, as I said, we have to see what should be the upper limit of our inflow inflow rate, Q max. So Q that can be calculated using this expression. So we know for different types of soil there is a limit, maximum permissible limit velocity for this V max. Okay, so for, let's say, in case of the soil is loam, so from that lookup table we can see that if it is not given, then we have to see the lookup table. So Vmax, generally these things are known. So for Vmax for loam is around 13. Okay, N value is given, L length of field. Okay, so based on that we can calculate Qmax. So Qmax should not be greater than 1.184 meter cube per minute. Okay, so this is a higher limit of your Qmax. Okay, now we have to select the Q naught. So this is the Qmax. Now we have to select the Q naught. Means, so this is the maximum limit, but whether to choose the maximum limit or whether to have slightly lower limit. That is our choice. That choice you have to make based on the what kind of combination is giving high efficiency. Okay, so we up to this 1.184 meter cube per minute for per meter width we can go. So let's take this full full value, this q max, q naught is equal to q max as our initial guess. Okay, now since the available supply rate is fixed, like the unit flow rate near the maximum would result into the smaller basin width and large number of basin. Okay, let's see. Our q is 10, and if you see q naught is equal to 1.184, so in that case around 8.4 or something sets we can have. Okay, now let's say instead of taking 1.184, let's say for 1 meter cube, what will happen if you choose inflow rate is equal to q naught is equal to 1 meter cube per minute. Okay, so if you choose, so this is we can say like that, this q is your available supply, which is given as 10 meter cube per minute in the problem. So whatever thing which is given, I have written it down here. Available supply is 10, q is given 10, and let's say if you choose q naught is equal to 1 meter cube per minute, so 10 divided by 1 will be your 10. Okay, so it means 10 sets of operations we have to do. Okay, so or what it means that, so your entire width is how much? 300 meter. Okay, so 10 sets means 300 divided by 10, so it means 30. So you may need 30 sets to irrigate this entire field. Sets to integrate entire field, because length will be fixed, because we are supplying water in this direction. So length will be fixed, only number of basins we can change. So number of basin will depend on what? Total width divided by width of one application. So total width is given as 300, and if you choose 1 meter cube per minute, okay, if you choose 1 meter per minute, so whatever width you are getting, that you have to divide. So let's say so here q is given to us, q is equal to 10 divided by 1, so that is 10. Just hold on. Okay, yeah, so if you see this one, so we'll end up with 30. Okay, so 300 divided by 30, it means 10 sets. So if you choose WB is equal to 30, so we'll end up with 10 sets. So likewise we have to change, we have to make the changes. Okay, so if you select this combination, means 10 sets, then in that case q naught will be, so in that case q naught will be, let's say you are choosing WB is equal to 30, in that case q naught will be 10 divided by 30, it means 0.333. It should be q naught. Let's select this q naught and design for this one. Okay, we can change this value and whichever combination gives the highest efficiency, that we have to select. So let's, as of initial stage, let's say we are selecting q naught is equal to 0.33. Substitute this value here in order to calculate y naught. Y naught is given by q naught square, so q naught we have just assume 0.33 into n is given L, that is length of field, which is given 150 divided by 7200, that will give the y naught. Now once y naught is achieved, we have to see whether it is sufficient. It should not pond the water, it should not pond the field, it should not overflow the field. Okay. So consider some freeboard of 5 centimeter over this what value we have got here, 0.0497. Okay, so 0.049, so approximately equal to 0.05, this or 97. Okay, so this is in meter, so it means 5 centimeter. 5 centimeter plus 5 centimeter freeboard will provide for bunds. Okay, so 10 centimeter would be sufficient in that case. Okay, now once that is there, once that is calculated, now we have to calculate the value of B. For that value of B, we have to calculate TL and TL by 2. Okay, so first using the B, we have to calculate sigma Z. So sigma Z is again function of A and B. Okay, so these infiltration parameters are given to us, A and B. So sorry, A is given to us, and with this assumed value, we are calculating sigma Z, and similarly sigma Z dash, sigma dash Z, which is again given by 1 upon 1 plus B. So once this is known, we can use this to calculate TL and calculate TL by 2. Now, if this assumed value of B star, and using this also we'll get 1B. If this B and B star are close to each other, it means B star is correct. If it is not, then we have to substitute B star is equal to B here and redo this calculation. So whenever we are getting B star is equal to B, that is our correct combination. So if that is correct, means our calculated TL and TL by 2 is also correct. Okay. So why we are calculating TL and TL by 2? Because we have to decide what should be your time of cutoff. So time of cutoff is essentially related with the tau requirement plus TL. Okay. So now TL we have calculated. Now our next step is to calculate tau requirement. Okay. So this is the value of TL and TL by 2 and the value of B. Now to calculate time of cutoff, so time of cutoff is equal to TL we have calculated plus this is your tau requirement. So we have seen this expression, right? Z requirement into L minus sigma Y into Y naught into L divided by Q naught. So this expression is similar to your volume by discharge. So this will give you the tau requirement. Okay, so this we are subtracting because our concern is not related to how much time it is required to pond the surface. Our concern is only how much time is required to achieve this tau requirement depth. Okay, so from this actually, this is known to us. 10 centimeters given in the question. 10 centimeter means 0.1 we have to substitute here. L is length of field. L is your length of field, which is again given 150, which is again constant. Sigma Y 0.8 we can assume. Y naught we have calculated 0.0587, and yeah, so this is L divided by Q naught that we have selected. Okay, so Q naught is equal to 0.33. So this is giving us the value of, so this is giving us value of time of cutoff. So this is time of cutoff, means your irrigation should cut off, irrigation supply should cut off if you select Q naught is equal to 0.3, and based on this 0.33 you have calculated B, TL by 2 and time of cutoff. So for this set of this means here actually again we have selected 10 sets. Okay, so for this combination time of cutoff should be 50.88 minute. Okay, and now we have to calculate efficiency of this combination. Okay, so application efficiency can be calculated. So this is your input. So input we have provided in a form of, so we have supplied Q naught amount of discharge for time of cutoff time. So this is your volume. So out of this input volume, what is the output volume that we have achieved. That will give you the efficiency. So output volume that we have achieved means how much depth. So this is your Z requirement for how much length, because we are talking about per unit width. So this is your Z requirement into L, depth into L into 1. This is your output volume. So if you give this as an input, this is what we are getting. So this will give you the around 88.52% efficiency. So this is based on this Q naught 0.33. Similar to that, we can see the various combination and various number of sets we can get based on that. So whichever is giving highest efficiency, that we have to select. So in this case, this 0.33 is giving the highest efficiency. So we have to select this combination for our design purpose. And also we have to check, because the supply is available only for 12 hours. Okay, so here although all the combinations are giving below 12 hours, so whichever combination is actually is getting remain with the 12 hours of supply, that combination also we have to choose. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So this is what the basin irrigation. So you can go with these ones on. So the design process will remain same. It's not about how many number of numericals you have. As example, only thing is the concept is important. What are the steps? What is the first step? First step is actually to find out what should be your Q max. What should be your Q max? What is your Q max? What is your upper limit of supply? Based on that, we have to decide value of Q naught. Once Q naught is decided, so for Q naught, for specific Q naught, number of sets, number of basins can be decided. Now for this number of basin, in one basin, what should be Y naught? Y naught means depth of ponding. Okay, that we have to calculate. After that, once that is decided, we have to calculate, we have to find the value of B. Basically, we have to find the TL, time of advance. Why we have to find time of advance? Because it will help us to find out time of cutoff. Okay, now time of cutoff can be used to calculate the efficiency. Okay, now to calculate the time of this TL, we are using that algorithm in which we are assuming B, and based on that we are calculating TL and TL by 2. Okay, so this is the simple step: fixing the Q max, then deciding the Q naught and that combination of number of basin. Based on that, calculate the Y naught, calculate the time of advance, time of cutoff, and application efficiency. Whichever is giving highest efficiency, that is your design. Okay, so with that, we'll stop here for this module. We'll take a 5-minute break and we'll join again. Will it be fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we'll pause here for 5 minutes and we'll join it again. Okay.